you're blaming the National Weather System for failing to warn about the catastrophic floods that are happening, and not the people that defunded the National Weather System is actually wild.
So I'm seeing a lot of people saying now is not the time to be talking about politics in regard to the flooding. Yes, the fuck it is. I know you're mad that I said if you voted for MAGA, you voted for this, but you did. Feel free to tag any MAGA voter you know in this video. Even the ones who were sitting on here crying about being misled. Because I've seen multiple videos now. I don't have sympathy for these Trump voters coming over. We were lied to. We were misled. Y'all called us sheep, stupid, brainwashed, liberal idiots. We tried to tell you. Kamala tried to tell y'all. Her economic plan was signed off by 23 Nobel Prize winning economists. I will never shut up about that, because if y'all weren't smart enough to read it yourself, because like that dude I stitched, she's like, we don't read the bills. Why would we read any of that? We trust what they tell us. We were telling y'all. He told you. Trump even said it. Y'all voted for this. He said he was going to do it. Kamala said the only people who said he wasn't going to do Project 2025 and do all this other shit was the people who voted for him. Well, he said, but he didn't mean it like you're taking everything personal. If you voted for MAGA, this is the exact time to talk about it. If you voted for MAGA, all of the unalivings that have occurred because of the National Weather Service being cut, the tornado in, I think it was Missouri, the flooding now in Texas, all of that, you voted for that. You voted for that. We told y'all what was going to happen. Kamala tried to tell y'all what was going to happen. Trump told y'all what he was going to do. Elon told y'all what he was making cuts to, and y'all went, yes, sir.
This is crazy. I know we're not Kirk County. I know we're not Kerrville. I know we're not San Angelo or San Antonio. But hell, we're human beings. Help us. Give us what we need. We are a older community. A lot of our people don't have insurance. They don't have money. Kind of a forgotten community for Travis County. We're unincorporated. We are their unwanted stepchildren out here, unfortunately. We had no warning. Nobody notified us. 2:30 in the morning, people that could get out came to this parking lot. Nobody was here. No firefighters, no police, nobody. We did not see Travis County sheriffs until 10 o'clock the next morning, who were rolling through and saying, you all need to evacuate. I opened a TikTok page, walking through HEB, buying non-perishable groceries, saying, we need help. Get me the media. Get me some official. Get me water. Get me anything we need, please. We have nothing. And I'm just trying to do whatever I can. I've had people stop me this morning and say, here's some more water, take it with you. Here's some more food, take it with you. Like, this is what we do out here as a community. But for God's sakes, Travis County, help us. Don't treat us like we're nothing out here, because we're not. We're human beings. We pay taxes out here. Don't treat us
back
like
home
this.
And I did some digging about the flooding in Texas. It's even worse than we thought. See, the county that this flooding occurred in is the Kamala County. So they literally didn't vote for this. The National Weather Service, even though they're undermanned, has been monitoring this area closely, because this time of year they do have flash flooding. So they had let off enough weather balloons and had notified the community that there would be flash flooding. But the 3 people in that county in charge of notifying people that there would be flash flooding were all let go. They were vacant positions. Either they took their early retirement that was offered by Doge, or they just resigned. But either way, no one was in 3 key positions. So no one answered the phone or checked the email. And Texas doesn't have a flood warning system, just like they won't weatherize their electrical system, which is why people froze to death a few years ago. So, Blue County just lost a few dozen people and some beautiful little girls because the state of Texas refuses to put warning systems in place that are automated, and couldn't be bothered to hire people to put out the notifications anyway. Yeah, this ain't winning. this isn't a good thing, and we need to figure it out. States' rights, my
unfortunately, this has become the sort of disgusting behavior that I've come to expect from those who consider themselves as quote unquote liberals and progressives. Look at this right here. May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. Kerr County MAGA voters to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. This is a message that was posted by a pediatrician. Yeah. She is responsible for saving the lives of children, and yet that is what is in her heart. Now, fortunately, we have, I guess, the law of FAFO that has indeed kicked in, and she has lost her job, at least at her hospital. And I would hope that her medical license is at least in question. Because how are we supposed to trust that a woman like this, who holds these sorts of sentiments, are going to take care of our children when these sort of disasters take place? Where countless kids are currently missing, others have already been pronounced dead, and at least 51 people are deceased.
All y'all saying Trump cut funding, we had to cut funding. The Democrats, Joe Biden, sent billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. Just think if that money had been spent right here. That's why Trump's having to cut funding.
I'm glad we can agree on one thing. I'm glad that we can agree that Trump's budget cuts had a direct impact on this tragedy in Texas, this flood. I'm glad we can agree on that. But you don't get to blame a previous administration and their budget for the budget that this administration just passed. Because I have been hearing it for 6 motherfucking months that we need to cut taxes so that I can have a little bit more money in my pocket. You all want to cut services that benefit everybody so that you can have a little bit more money in my pocket. And this is a direct fucking result of that. Direct result. And 80% of that money being sent to Ukraine was old fucking equipment. I know, because my unit got entirely new Bradleys, but that's besides the point. The real issue is that collectively, us as a society went to the voting pamphlet and we made a decision. Am I okay with more people dying by cutting social services so that I can have money in my pocket? And the majority of Americans said yes. That is the harsh reality of the decisions that we make. Just for the record, I'm not blaming this tragedy on people that voted for Trump, man. This tragedy is way, way too fucking serious. But there are consequences to how we vote. There are consequences to cutting climate science's budget. You do not get to blame any other
MAGA influencers are saying that the weather is being manipulated, that the weather is fake. And as a Texan who is seeing this weather firsthand, like I'm looking at it right now, and hearing reports of all of the unalivements that are happening because of this weather, because of the flooding, I just have one question. If they're claiming the weather is being manipulated, they're claiming that the weather is fake, and yet we have a Republican House, a Republican Senate, a Republican White House, who is manipulating the weather? I'm just saying. I'm just asking. This is what happens when you don't believe in science. This is what happens when you live in a state of religious psychosis. This is what happens when you defund National Weather Services. FEMA, we told you people would die. And that's exactly what's happening right now. But instead of putting the blame where the blame belongs, MAGists are saying that it's fake. Just like their leader, anytime his lies are exposed, calls it fake news. Are we shocked and surprised at all?
Floods
No.
in Texas are not Trump's fault. They're not MAGA's fault. But the high death toll is exactly what MAGA voted for. Don't get it twisted here. It's not their fault that the floods happened. But it is their fault that the National Weather Service had their federal funding cut, which then impacts how much staff they have to do forecasting. So the scale of the devastation, the at least 90 people that are dead, the 11 people that are missing, that's what MAGA voted for. Because the fraud, waste, and abuse that they were cheering about cutting are critical services like this, which prevent devastation like this. Who knows? Who knows how many lives could have been saved if the funding for the National Weather Service had not been cut? This is the same shit that we saw as soon as this administration got into office and airplanes started falling out of the sky. And we told y'all it's because he's cutting the budget for the air traffic controllers. But no, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's not his fault, but it's what MAGA voted for.
The way Texas officials are responding to the difficult to believe unfolding tragedy right now is kind of rule number one of the right and far right's playbook throughout history, certainly in the US. And it goes like this. Republicans sabotage government services. They sabotage government agencies. They defund government organizations. They purposely hinder the work of government programs. The result being government services and agencies and programs not working as they should, as intended, failing the people they're supposed to help. And then Republicans pointing at that and saying, see, look, government does not work. The government is your enemy. They take your tax dollars and do nothing good with it. Don't trust the government. Vote for small government. It's a sick cycle, and too often it works. And it's absolutely infuriating to see so many people, certainly not I, because I don't vote for Republicans who move like this, but so many people entrust these Republicans with their livelihoods, with their hard-earned tax dollars, with the power to make decisions that affect literally their ability to survive. And then Republicans turn around and do shit like strip the National Weather Service of funding and resources, and then say, look, the government failed you. They failed to forecast this biblical flooding. It's atrocious, bad faith, public service, and they're going straight to hell for
Blaming
it.
Donald Trump for the weather now?
No, we're blaming him for cutting funding to the National Weather Service.
Still planning to phase out FEMA?
Well, FEMA is something we can talk about later, but right now they're busy working, so we'll leave it at that.
In light of the floods, do you think that the federal government needs to hire back any of the meteorologists who were fired in the last few months?
I wouldn't know that. I really wouldn't. I would think not. This was the thing that happened in seconds. Nobody expected it. Nobody saw it. Very talented people are there, and they didn't see it. It's, I guess they said, once in 100 years they've never seen anything like this. So I wouldn't, people are trying to blame the school. They're trying to blame the camp. They're trying to blame. It's just a horrible thing. But no, I wouldn't say that, no.
Are you planning to visit Texas, Mr. President?
Probably on Friday.